What it do? It's your boy Brock, and this is the broadcast. I'm joined with my co-host with the most, Mr. Petty Pat. Talk to him.
Yo, what's good? This your boy Petty Pat, lead brand designer of Brock Brand Clothing.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We are at the den. If y'all cannot see, we're open. We got our members in the background. They grooving and shaking, watching the live show happen. Hey, man, today we got a very special guest, and I know I say that all the time, but I truly mean this shit today. We have a legend in the building today. He grew up on the southeast part of Houston, such as myself, so we connect on that level. He put Houston, Texas on the map with his amazing skills in breaking. He is and continues to be an inspiration in the city of Houston with his break-free hip-hop school, which he owns and runs, and where he teaches and hosts a class about hip-hop and the knowledge through a positive scope. He was recently a judge in the recent Paris Olympics, and we got to talk to my guy, no other than Mr. Bboy Moy himself, the legend, man.
And we appreciate y'all, man. Thank you for the love.
I
excited,
appreciate
man.
you, bro. Hopefully I did that right, man, because I want to, when I met you,
yeah,
I got June. He was like, "Hey, yeah, this is my boy Moy." You know, yeah, he did a little break in here and there, and I'm like, "Oh, okay." You know, then I start, looking into you a little bit, because I feel like we connected. So I'm looking into it. I'm like, bro, this dude ain't just no regular breaker. Like he really does this shit. Goes around the world, wins titles and championships, bro. Could you give the people a little brief story about yourself?
That's tough. First of all, I appreciate the love and respect for both of you guys, Pat, Brock. You guys are doing a lot for the city, and I appreciate being a part of that. But, man, look, I've been breaking since I was 12 years old. Mm-hmm. I'll be 41 this year, and it was
Don't look like it. You could have fooled me.
It was just something that I just fell in love with, man, and much needed at the time. I think it was a very pivotal time in my life where I think that, just like as cliche as it sounds, I could have chose to do a lot of different things, but I feel like God sent me dancing, and then dancing set me apart.
Right.
You know what I mean? And I just been really blessed, man. At early age of 14, 15 years old, I was getting opportunities to travel all around the world, get sponsored, and just chase what I love. And man, I just been blessed to just be a staple in the breaking community and provide opportunities and impact. But I mean, the list goes on of things I've done within the breaking community, but I think the most important thing is just to be able to still be here and share the experiences so other people can be inspired as well.
Man, I mean, your story is hella inspiring, just watching the YouTubes, because I did my due diligence, people. I don't got people writing in the back for me. I'm coming up with these questions myself. So,
let's go.
Nah, man, I just, watching the YouTubes, watching, where you grew up, could you talk, to us about growing up in Houston in the 90s, Mason Park, like the whole vibe of kind of where it started. Give us a little, imagery of what that was like.
Yeah, man, well, first of all, south side of Houston in the 90s was extremely tough. Probably just like many other areas that we're dealing with a lot of quote unquote gang violence, drug activity, and it was difficult just kind of walking from my house to school or my house to the park without getting chased, shot at, or jumped straight up. I mean, those are real stories that I'm sharing, and so it was difficult because you knew if you wanted to do something, you got to get out. Because if you stayed home, then what are you doing? Just watching TV all day, just trying to figure it out? It doesn't work that way. And so you got to put yourself in the fire. And I think a lot of what I learned was just through the experience of just having to go out there and put yourself at risk and anything that I love. And that was the number one stepping stone in really just trusting myself and my confidence of you know what? I'm a protected being, either through God or through a higher power, and I'm going to make something happen. And so early on it was tough because there wasn't a lot of support for what I did. Because breaking is from the streets, or hip-hop is from the streets, it has such a negative connotation that it was already rejected by everybody, including my own parents. But they didn't know that it was really changing my life in a different way. And so, man, the love and the passion that it was giving me, I can't even explain it. All I can say is that, 29, 30 years later of doing it, I've been able to travel the world, do movies, commercials. I mean, travel with some amazing people that share and are a part of the same passion that I'm at, and I think that story in itself is a big testimony. And I just think that, you know, if you want to be able to achieve or see the results that you want, you got to put yourself in danger. You know what I mean?
I was going to
go
question
through that risk
about because we kind of grew up in the same hood, right? So I lived over in that side of town for a while with Mason and Grando, Days of Vala. Kind of like talk about like where would you guys hang out, or where were y'all breakdancing, or how was that, you know, going on whenever y'all was in the hood and stuff? Because like he said, man, those aren't like back in the day when I was younger in middle school. People used to always tell me all the time, bro, don't get caught out in the street out here, like
100%.
You know what I'm saying? Like it was bad.
I mean, you're spot on, man. You named all the parks except for one, Mason Park.
Mexican Park.
Mexican and Mason Park. But
Mason
Park was like the meeting ground for like myself and my crew, where it was a spot that actually the first spot out of everywhere that I've been that actually said, hey, you know what? Rather than being anywhere else, you guys can practice here. You can use the stage or the clubhouse.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
That was the first time we actually got accepted, where they actually allowed us for a space to be provided for us to get down and do what we love.
Okay, so let me tell them. So for not everybody knows, Mason Park, they have like a gymnasium inside, right? And they have a basketball court, and they also have like a stage inside of the gym. So that's where you guys were.
So everybody would be hooping, and we'd be on the stage just getting down. We'd take a boombox and just do our thing. And then little by little, man, it was attractive for everybody there. There were some b-ballers that come through and just be like, man, I want to get down with you guys, and then we'll teach them something. And then they became b-boys, and even some of the staff, you know, like just wanted to get involved because they saw the kind of the essence, the unity that it was providing for us, and they wanted to be a part of it. You know, when the energy's dope, like people want to be a part of that and mingle, you know. And so it was a great time, man, for sure. But you know, it wasn't always easy because I'll tell you one story. I remember, because at this time it wasn't even easy to like own a boombox. They were so expensive.
Okay,
you know, it was so expensive. And I remember my brother and we had literally saved up our own money to buy a boombox at the time, and I think we paid like. I think it was like $150, and that was a lot of money for us.
Yeah, back then.
That was a lot of money for us, and I remember we bought it from a store called Service Merchandise at Gulfgate Mall in the Southeast.
Okay.
And I remember, we actually like, I don't know, probably saved up for like a month to buy that. But I remember one night after practice at Mason Park, we left, and it was probably about between 9 and 9:30 p.m. And we're walking out, and all of a sudden the car rolls up, and my brother tells me, hey, run home. He's like, run home. And I'm like, nah. He's like, they're going to get us. And I said, nah, man. Like, and I'm tiny. Right. He's my older brother, but I'm tiny. But I still, like, growing up where we come from, it was just like something like you don't run away, you know.
Yeah.
It was one of those things that was just like that pride kicked in. And so I stayed, and he was like, all right, then let's do it, you know.
Yeah.
Because there was no way we were going to be able to make it
that because the way how Mason is. So again, people don't know about Mason. There's a long driveway to get to the little gymnasium, and then there's a bunch of trees. At nighttime, if it's no lights, it's pitch black.
Right.
And if you see a car coming up, you like, bro,
100%.
I know what time it is, bro.
So I lived. My parents lived 2 blocks away, and I remember we crossed the main street, which was 75th Street, and we're coming down the block, see that little white car pull up, maybe 5 guys in it. And my brother's like, run. I said, nah. And he's like, all right. And then so he's like, well, walk faster. We turned the corner because they dipped out. They ended up turning around, and they pull up in front of us. They pull out a gun. One dude gets out with a crowbar and, like, swings at my brother. My brother ducks. I think he kind of grazes his shoulder a little bit. Dude, you know, cocks the gun back or whatever. It's like, hey, if you want to make it home, like, give up the radio.
Damn.
And we had just bought it. Like, it was the first day we used it, you know, on stage or whatever at Mason. And so we gave it up that night. And so it was like, and then we got home. We got home safe. That's all that mattered.
Right.
It was one of those things where literally, like, you know, you're trying to do things that were positive and were changing our life, but you still have to kind of go through all these obstacles to get to where you want to get to.
Right,
you know what I mean?
What, tell me, I mean, that's crazy because, like, I can imagine, and you tell me if I'm wrong, like, because I watched the movie Breaking, so I've seen, if everybody's seen the movie Breaking, and you see the crews line up, and he's like, okay, what's up, fool? And he's like, popping, like, and I see you get ready to do your bit, like, what is that, like, where's your mind take you when you're creating that art? Because it's a form of art, too, because I see you, and it's like, does your body just move into the next move, or is it things that you practice where it's like, okay, I know this is going to be dope, I did this in a mirror, or what?
Man, the first thing, I think it's great that you asked that, number one, because, the first thing that I know is, like, when you're in front of an opponent, it's like, there's a different thing. It's like, you're not going to box, you're not going to fight,
right?
But you still want to take the head off, you know what I mean? Whoever it is. And so, one of the first things I always did was just kind of just walk around and just kind of stare people in the eyes. So there's this huge nervousness inside, though, because you're like, you don't want to screw up. You want to perform at your best. You got everybody watching. But the first thing I always did was just kind of just stare at people's eyes. And if I could let people just kind of feel my presence before even touching the floor, then I feel like I got them right where I want them. And then the rest was up to me. I got to go out there and perform and do my job. But there's a lot of emotions that go on in that moment. I mean, think about you as an athlete. I mean, anytime, no matter how confident or how great you think that you are, you're a human being, and that nervousness just kind of just takes over, and you just know you got to do your best. But I'm not thinking about moves. I'm not thinking about what I'm gonna do. I'm just thinking about, all right, relax. You got to stay confident. And they got to feel your presence. And if I knew that I was getting that across, I knew I'd be all right.
Because it's just the energy. Because, like you said, you're not boxing. You're not fighting. But, it might be a point where you get in somebody's face. Opponent. But, I'm just saying, like, how do you feel like, okay, I'm getting over on him? Like, or how do I know I'm dominating him? You know what I'm saying? Like, is it the way of the crowd? Or is it like, oh, did my moves tight? Like, how does that? Because you got to explain it to me.
I think it's a feeling, man. Like, honestly, like, once you're kind of locked in, you're kind of you're first of all you're locked into the music and you're locked into the environment and you understand what's going on. You're not really thinking about like am I killing it, or is he killing me, or she killing me? Like, I'm just thinking about, like, if I feel it, there ain't no stopping me. The only thing that's gonna stop me is once the DJ cuts the music off. It was that feeling. So it's like it's a feeling. It's kind of hard to describe. But once you're kind of locked into that moment, and people are feeling that as well. I mean, it's a flow of energy that just doesn't stop unless the music cuts off.
So when you so you going into a battle, right? You battling somebody, right? Whether it's you or your team, do you choose the music that you want to dance to, or is it just purely DJ?
So that's the interesting thing. A lot, for a lot of other kind of dance elements, people get to prepare and perform the routines based on music that they've choreographed to. Not in breaking. Breaking is strictly improvisation. Strictly freestyle. So you don't know what the DJ is gonna play. You don't know what the floor is gonna feel like. You don't know how the judges are gonna look at you. Like, it's the music that you hear, the environment that's given to you, and the feeling that you get. You either take advantage of it or you don't, or it takes advantage of you. And so, like, that's the great thing and the beauty about breaking, and I think that makes this dance different and so special, because you're not prepared for it. You're just mentally and physically prepared. But in terms of, like, the things that are thrown at you on the spot, you got to freestyle and just make it happen,
Because, I mean, when I look at it, and this is the first thing that goes to my mind, you got served. I know they amplified the shit out of, breaking and dance groups and that, but it's just like that feeling that you get where you in somebody's face, and where you always a guy like middle of the group where they like, okay, we got to bring out the secret weapon. All right, here's more.
You know what? It's funny. I think, there was a certain point where there was always like 1, 2, or 3 of us where we were kind of like secret weapons, where we'd kind of be saved for kind of the heavy hitting rounds. And it's like, go now. But, I think one thing that made us special as a crew, like, coming up, is that it was just important to be like an individual, right? We couldn't look like each other. Everybody had to be powerful in their own ways, carry their own strengths. And I think that's the special part about breaking, is because the moment you look like anybody else is like the moment you're already doing this all wrong. You got to be original. and that should be your number one strength. You know, I know that I always can be a better Moy, but there's nobody else that can be a better Moy.
Right.
And I think there's been periods where people and actually breakers are actually inspired by somebody, and they're trying to be a version of someone else that's just not even capable. Like you cannot make that happen.
Right.
You can be influenced and inspired, but it's just impossible.
You ever did like a trick or whatever? Like say like you got your crew is dancing, right?
Yeah.
They're breaking, right? And then you in there like with a hoodie on, and then boom, you just
like ninja status.
Yeah, ninja style. They just you jump out and just fuck the crowd up.
Yeah, you know what's interesting is like one of the key moments in like my breaking career that kind of like set me off like over the top was an event called Freestyle Session, and it was a 2-year anniversary, and it was held in Cali, in LA. I think at the time it was in Pasadena, and it was 1999. And we were one of the first crews to go up, and the very first round, we got told that we were going to battle the best crew in the world.
Oh, wow.
And I was just like, man, at this time, like, we drove out to LA. We couldn't afford plane tickets to travel out there, so we rented a 15-passenger van, and we drove with the entire crew.
The big white
and so I remember thinking, like, damn, I don't want to get smoked first round.
Right,
The best.
You can't
and
do me like
I
that.
swear,
bro.
that hit me for like, I mean, just seconds. And then I was just like, nah, this is not
You
gonna
locked
happen.
in.
We're going to lock in. We're going to do this. But that moment, it was the first time I kind of, in front of a big audience, did a move called the air flare that essentially got really popularized after that because it was one of the first times. There was 2 or 3 other people in the entire world that had did this, but it was the moment. It was the time, the place, that moment. That
everything was just lined
up. Very impactful. It just lined up exactly. And I'm blessed to be a part of that moment. But I was like one of the first to do continuous air flares, and people flipped their minds off, bro, because to see this little scrawny kid out of Houston, Texas, do that, it just blew people away.
And then it was no social media back then.
There was no social media, and I remember everybody coming up like I'm not kidding you when I say it's gonna sound corny and funny, but everybody like, man, Texas, you guys are from Texas, man. We thought that was like haystacks and horses.
Look, that's what they think about
people
us.
Still
that's
think
what
that,
they think about us.
People still think
that was those were real words I
heard
heard from people, and I was like, nah, man, like you know. That's where we're from. We're from Houston, and this is what we do. You know, no different than you. You know.
Yeah.
And I remember that footage didn't get released till like months later, because at this time the only way footage was circulating was through VHS tapes.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, and so like you couldn't put out a 15-second highlight like we could do on Instagram.
VHS, bro. You just. You just telling your age, bro. You said VHS.
Well, we already
Bro,
told
back in the gap, bro. VHS that was the only way of watching stuff.
Yeah.
If it wasn't on TV.
And the internet was just starting to get live, and so I remember just like, I mean, months after that, the internet started to kind of pick up momentum, and you can upload clips for the first time ever, and those clips were like 6 to like 10 seconds. And then everybody had dial-up internet.
Yeah.
So in order for you to see the
wait.
clip, you had to wait like a while, maybe like overnight.
Right.
So you can see it the next day.
Yeah.
And I remember once that clip got uploaded, because it was on that freestylesession.com page.
Yeah.
And it was the first time that he started loading, and he would call them, my boy Cross One, he would call them clips of the week. And my clip went up as clip of the week, and I mean, the rest was history. People just kind of replayed that over and over. And I remember coming back from LA, and that's one of the first times I had an email, and I opened up an email account, and I had about 150 emails of people telling me like, "Hey, can you come to France? Can you come to Japan? Can you do this?" I mean, based off just literally that one clip. I could have been so whack, but just had that one dope move. But people were just really impacted by it.
That's crazy, man.
Did you play any other sports? Was there any other sports that got you ready for breaking, or did you just come out? You was like, oh shit, I'm dancing.
Yeah, man. So the interesting is I grew up playing sports. I played a lot of like little league baseball and basketball.
Okay.
And then even when I got to middle school, I was playing basketball. I think I shared a little bit about you. Like I was pretty good at basketball, and I remember like coming into middle school. You know, my coach was like, hey, you know, you could play point, you could play starting point, and I was playing starting point guard. And I remember at the time, they were like, hey, the coach at Milby High School, when I was in middle school at the time, they were like, hey, they want to see if you can come out and play some weekend games with them. And I was like, but we'll have to figure it out, because we got to kind of sneak you in to make that happen.
Right.
So I did play sports, man, and so I understood the preparation. I understood what it took to get good at something that you love, and it was something that you wanted to be a part of. And so it did set me up for a lot. But, man, my 6th grade year when I picked up breaking, yeah, my coach didn't talk to me for 2 years, bro.
That's fucking crazy.
But what initially, like, got you into, like, so what was that moment to where Moy was, like, at home, he's like, I think I just wanted to, I want to do breaking from now on.
I'm telling you, bro. If I tell
what was that one moment?
I'm going to tell you this right now. I'll tell you the story. And it's all God. If I could put it any other way, it's all God, because it was my 6th grade year. It was at the end towards the end of the school year, and I got the entire day. I was getting invited to a talent show. But let me go back a little bit, because that morning, one of my boys, his name was George. He hits me up early in the morning. He calls me before I go to school, and he says, "Hey man, can you meet with me before the bell rings? Because I need you to do me a favor." And he goes, "You got me, right?" And I was like, 100%.
Right.
Like, I didn't even ask what it was. I was like, "For sure, I got you." So I pull up to the school, and he's like, "Hey, man, I got to dip out early, but I got my pistol on me, and it's a 9mm." And keep in mind, though, when I was in school, I was a good student. Right. I was always, like, on roll, like, advanced placement classes. And even though in the hood, it was, like, something different. You know?
Right.
It was different. But, like, when I was in school, I really respected that, because I honored my parents about always, like, try to do well, you know, in school. And I remember holding that pistol, and I was like, man, just like, this is going to be a tough day. It's not me.
Right.
It's not me, but it's going to be a tough day, you know, because I didn't want to be a punk either in his eyes. And I wanted him to do a favor. And so that entire day, bro, I'm holding this pistol, and I'm getting invited to this talent show, and I'm just like, no, bro, like, I don't want to go. I don't want to go. Like, as soon as the bell rings to go home, I want to get my ass home. Excuse my language, but I want to get my ass home.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And so, sure enough, I remember it was like 7th period. It was like 2 hours before school ended, because it was like the last period where the talent show was going to go off. My boy comes up to me, and he's like, man, you should come with me, bro. Like, I got some girls coming. And I was like, all right. So it didn't take a lot to convince me.
Right.
No, once they say girls. So I was like, under one condition, we could sit in the back and I'll go. Because if something pops out, I got to dip. You know, because I got this on my hip. I'm tiny, bro. Like, I don't want nobody to spot this. So I'm sitting there through the entire talent show. Super boring, I'm not going to lie. Like, I remember the entire feeling that I had the entire time.
Yeah.
And I'm sitting there and just engaging with my people, some of the girls and friends, and we're just talking the entire time. And that's what kind of kept me there. But I just remember, bro, like, time flew, and I remember the lights going off in the auditorium, and I remember strobe lights and black lights coming on the stage, and I just remember just getting up, and I'm just like, what? And dudes come out, and they're like spinning on their hands and backs and heads, and I was just like, from that moment on, I was like, I want to do that.
That's crazy.
I want to do that.
That's
I
crazy.
literally went home after that, got home, told my mom, hey, homework's done. I'm gonna go down the street, because there was a department store down the street, and I said, I'm gonna go pick up some cardboard, because I got a project to work on. I didn't tell her what it was for, because I didn't want nothing to stop me. You know what I mean?
Right.
She's gonna be like, what do you mean breaking?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
You
And so, like, I literally went 2 blocks away, picked up some cardboard, and dragged it all the way home, got it to my backyard, got some tape, taped it up, and just started.
That's crazy. What was your first move? I mean, like, what was the most challenging move when you first started?
Man, I think the most challenging move when I first started was a windmill. Because I think that's the one move that everybody wants to get. It's like, once you get into breaking, it's just like, I want to get a windmill. If I do a windmill, that's all I need.
Right.
And so I struggled with it for a while, but actually I had one of my older brothers, his name's Julio, who used to break in the 80s. And what's funny is he's the one that taught me how to do it. I struggled with it for so long. I remember him coming home one night. He'd probably get mad for me to saying this, but he was a little tipsy, and he comes home from the club. He's a lot older than me. And he was like, man, you're doing it wrong. Let me show you how it's done.
Right.
Yeah. And
he loosened him up.
That boy just went into some windmills, and I'm just like, what?
Right.
I'm like, what? And yeah, man, and then once I saw him do it, I'm a visual learner, you know, so once I saw it, I understood the mechanics, and I just kind of did it on my own, and just, it was a party.
I'm the same way. Visual learner is, I think, because if I see it done, then I'm like, okay, I can do it. I see it, like, but if I'm watching it, I'm like,
Yeah, watching, reading about it. I mean, I can do it,
right.
but if I see it, I can understand it better.
You ever been
right there? You ever been in the competition, right? So you say you had to learn how to do a windmill. You ever been in the competition and been and like there's a move that you had been practicing, even if it was a point later on in your career you were practicing a move and you just like, I cannot get this shit, and you just in the competition and you just said, fuck it, I'm gonna try it and pull that shit off, and like, what was that moment?
Every single time.
That's crazy.
I'm gonna tell you right now, because once that energy is like just brewing and you're there and you might not ever have that moment again. Yeah. I just go for it, bro. Yeah. Like I till this day I tell my students this: when you compete or you battle, you have one button and it says go. Push it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. You know? And that's exactly how it was. When I was breaking and competing, I had one button, bro. I just push it. And I'd go, and if it came, it came. If it didn't, it didn't. I'd pay the price for it.
Yeah, right.
But there was, I mean, moves were endless. Like, there was a lot of moves that I would always try. But, man, thank God that, like, in key moments, it was always hit.
Man.
Yeah.
Hey, talk to.
And that's crazy. I'm just saying, that's crazy what just adrenaline could do.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I want to know, like, is there any crazy, intense battles that you've been a part of, or just like in, your best battle, like, you in Japan, or it don't matter where you at, like, what has been like your best like battle that you've been a part of?
Oh man, I have a lot, but I think one of my most memorable battles was in 2001 in Miami, Florida, against a very well-known b-boy, highly respect, a good friend of mine. His name's Cloud. Mm-hmm. And I remember this battle going in. It meant a lot to me, not because I was there to like do my best or anything like that, but it was to prove a certain group of people wrong. Because I remember I was told, like, man, this dude's gonna smoke you, like, he got this over you, he got that over you. But my training was always like top level. I was always training like an athlete, but creating like an artist. And that was a mantra that I've always had in breaking. And so I remember training like differently. And so I expected differently.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because
Right.
people weren't training like me. Breakers will always just show up to practice and just get down. And that was it. But I'm literally like doing push-ups. I mean, I'm doing sprints, doing squats. I'm doing everything that everybody else isn't.
Yeah.
Because I understand how the body works. That's what Little League and like baseball and basketball taught me. To be able to kind of prepare for these moments. And I remember getting to Miami, and bro, our battle was scheduled for 10 rounds. Like, you got to go 10 rounds back to back. That's a lot in breaking. 5 is a lot in breaking.
Yeah.
But we did 10 rounds. Bro, I went through those 10 rounds like nothing.
Yeah.
I went through those 10 rounds. I mean, I had my opponent breathing heavy after 3. You know what I mean?
Okay.
And it's one of the most difficult things to do. I'm not saying it's easy, but I was extremely prepared for it. And it turned a lot of heads.
Is it a time frame for the rounds?
So I think on average, every b-boy round is like somewhere between 25 to 45 seconds.
Okay.
But it can range just depending on how much content you throw into your rounds. You know what I mean? But yeah, man, it was one of those battles that really just set the tone for like, man, this is what training could do.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Being from Houston, you travel. Well, I already know. I know where I'm at. So, we good? It died.
Okay.
Damn.
What that?
No, hit the camera. He got to just plug the camera up.
Okay.
I think the camera died.
Okay. I can't see the questions.
We good? What y'all think so far? What y'all think? Can they hear me?
No, because I'm not on the broadcast. I need to go on the broadcast.
Can they hear me? Oh shit. Okay. What y'all think so far? Is anybody on? It probably ain't nobody on there.
It's people on there. I just saw it. Hold on. Let me see. Am I able to look at the live while I'm on the? Oh no, I can't. Yeah, no, I can't. I can't look at the questions.
Doing a mini break. We got any questions? No. If we don't know.
Questions? Yeah.
Yeah, we got.
Man, I think for me it was literally right after that 1999 trip where I did that move and I came home and I had all those emails. That I knew that it was special. I knew that people want to see more, and I think from that moment on, it was like, all right, let's do this. Let's take it to another level. So, I was probably in 4 years of my breaking journey, but all it takes is one moment like that to like really inspire and motivate you to take it to new heights. And I think that moment is kind of what did that. I was always very competitive. And I wanted to achieve more, but that moment set it off for me for sure.
Man, that's crazy. All right, back to the show. We good? So being that you're from Houston, Texas, and you've traveled, I think we talked about it, you traveled to over 75 countries. 75 countries. Could you tell us, like, what country, like, superseded your expectation where you went, you were like, where am I going? Like, and they doing what? Like,
yeah.
What country, like?
Man, I to this day, I always say, outside of the United States, one of the best countries in the world is Japan.
Japan, okay.
Man, Japan was just like next level for me, man. Number one, the people are amazing. Mm-hmm. So respectful, so genuine. Mm-hmm. You never have to worry about anything. I mean, walking down the streets. I mean, leaving your wallet in a restaurant. You'll come back 6 hours later and it's still there untouched.
That's great.
I mean, it is one of the most like respectful and just honest countries in the world. Mm-hmm. That's number one. Number two is the food is amazing. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. The food is amazing in Japan, and so.
Wait, no, Japan, ain't that where they eat crickets and octopus and all that? You mean that? You eating that?
Nah.
No, okay.
That's like third world China.
Oh, man, let me stop.
Nah, but yeah, and then the food is amazing, and three, like when it comes to breaking, the breaking community was just incredible, man. Like I remember going there, and because you were so good, like you got called out. Like by the breakers in the country, and that was a sign of respect. Of like, yo, man, you in my country, like let's go.
Yeah.
And so it was the time where like I literally battled the most, and I've been to Japan 29 times over the course of my breaking career.
Okay.
So met a lot of people, battled a lot of people, but met and grew some amazing relationships.
So the culture is what
culture is next level, top notch.
So look, so you traveling around to all these countries, right? And you battling so much. Was there ever a time where you saw people doing stuff that you had never seen before, and you were like, man, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna take what he did and kind of incorporate something that I know what I'm gonna do, and then make it my own.
It's gonna sound crazy, right? And I normally don't talk like this.
Yeah.
But no, because I felt like we were the ones innovating and bringing new material to the game. Mm-hmm. I mean, before us, like there was a crew called Style Elements that really innovated a lot in breaking culture, but we took what they were doing and what the OGs were doing and really just created a new energy. And so, like when I was traveling, I couldn't say that like I was really like impressed or something that took me to a next level to be like, damn, that's crazy, because I think at the time we were ahead of our time. Yeah. We were the ones creating and innovating new moves and bringing a new energy to the world of breaking. And that honestly, that might be the first time I say that like publicly like this, because it was something that at the time where I knew this was happening, but you have to be humble about it. But today, man, like. Today, there's some crazy things going on. There's crazy things that I've never seen before that are happening today. But because I'd never seen them before, didn't mean I didn't think about them.
Okay, I got you.
You see what I'm saying?
When you see, like, I thought about it. I thought about doing it, but now I just saw it. So now, okay.
And the timing is different.
I got you. Yeah.
Like, the timing was different, So it's like, the body can only do so much for a certain period. You know what I mean? Yeah. But everything that I'm seeing today, I saw.
Right.
One of the biggest things that I tell all my students is like, if you can see it, you can do it. I can't guarantee you how long it's going to take you to get it, but you first have to see it before you can do it. And I saw a lot, and that's why I was able to accomplish a lot because I saw it here, and I just started putting it into action. I just kind of, in terms of my breaking prime, I just ran out of time.
Okay, right. And talking about time, we all know, Father Time is undefeated, man. We get old. You became a husband, a father.
Yeah.
At what point in time, we talk about entrepreneurship. At what point in time did you start thinking about opening your own school?
Man, I'm not gonna lie. I was probably about 15, 16 years old.
Damn.
When I thought about that, and it was mainly because, I guess, when you get rejected so much and people tell you no so many times,
it makes you want to
give them a whole bunch of yeses.
Right.
You know what I mean? And so I remember being 15, 16 years old, getting kicked out of like everywhere we went because they thought it was negative. And I told myself, man, if I ever position myself financially or get to a point even mentally to be able to open up a school or a studio or some type of community center,
right,
I'm going to do that. And I remember moving to LA, like kind of pursuing my entertainment career and doing things out there. Yeah. I came up on a little bit of bread, a little bit of money. I came home, and I told my wife that I want to do this, and she thought I was crazy because we had just had our son. So my son was 6, and his name's Isaiah. He was 6 months old. We were still dealing with a lot of growth within our relationship as a marriage, and I just felt like God had given me this vision, and I think it was time to start it. And my wife thought I was crazy, but when you go out and do something like that, you got to be a little crazy to do it. Yeah. And so I went out and did it. And so, but the spark of entrepreneurship was just something that always was with me as a kid.
Started at an early age.
I just wanted to find the right time to do it.
Right.
You know what I mean?
So,
and I did.
Look, balancing. Oh, my bad.
No, go. You got it.
So balancing like the real world with you, your wife, and then you eventually had a kid, right? And then now but you also know I still got a job to do, right? I still got to travel the world because we still got to make some type of money. Like,
sure.
Was there ever a point to where it was taking so much of a toll on you? You was like, I'm to the point to where now I'm ready to give up. You ever been to that point?
I think there was always points in my journey of like just life in general, right? Everything that you mentioned together, whether it was entrepreneurship, family, or just personal things, there was always points that kind of was like, man, maybe you should give this up or you should do this. There was always points, but there was just too much in me to not let me give up.
Yeah.
Right.
There's too many people that rely on me, and even those people that I felt like didn't want me somewhere, I always said God wants me there. It's like I told you guys that. It's like, and I just kind of followed that, man. And so like, there was too many good things happening to let one little feeling stop me from doing what I love.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, I can go on and say, and I can be as crazy to say this, but like, that's probably every day of my life that I want to get up and say, you know what, I don't want to do this anymore.
Right.
But then there's just like, I'm tripping. Like, man, I got this going on, I got that. I know you, like, you know what I'm saying? You guys, you find inspiration in everything. And I think that sometimes people give up too fast because they don't know how to look for inspiration in anything.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean?
That's
So they just kind of just give up. They give up too fast. But man, bro, like inspiration like is everywhere. And most of the time we create narratives in our head that don't allow us to get ahead because of whatever reason,
Right.
And so that's why it's like you got to make sure that you kind of dive deeper into whatever it is that you're chasing and you find something that you love, man. And all it takes is a little ounce or a little something just to kind of get you over the edge, and you'll get over it quick.
Man, I'm telling you, it's something about chasing your passion, you know, because I can kind of recall when I was, getting into football. Like, I liked football. And, I was big, I was tall, but, some of the work, made me be like, damn, do I really want to do this?
Right.
But it was something in me like, bro, you gonna be a quitter? Like, you gonna quit after, like, 100%. I just didn't want to be no quitter. And then it's something about having a passion that you're chasing, and it's like nobody can tell you any otherwise. Like, how many times people tell you, like, I'm going to the NFL. I was, like, telling my grandmother, like, yeah, I'm going to go to the NFL. I'm going to buy you a house. And I know now if I heard my son talk like that, I'd be like, come on, bro. Like, so I know when I was little and the look on her face, she was just like, Yeah. And then when I went out and did it, she was like, oh, my gosh,
But see, that's the thing, though. That's the thing that I'm talking about, man. It's like there's people that want it, and then there's people that feel it and experience it internally.
Right.
You felt it and experienced it internally.
Right.
a lot of us can talk about it, but very few of us feel it. When you can feel it and you can see it internally, externally you're gonna accomplish all that.
Right.
You know, and I've surrounded myself with all types of people. I surrounded myself with a lot of those people that externally they thought they were gonna do this, they were gonna do that and do that, but internally they just didn't have it to be able to achieve that.
Right.
And that's why they say it's like, man, if that circle is kind of slowing you down, you got to be able to move on and find a new circle. You know, and I just understood and I discerned those moments that, man, I was just able to carry out the vision because I had that feeling brewing in me. Just like you as a kid, like, you know, if you hear anybody, man, you know how hard it is to make it to the NFL?
Right.
That's what I'm saying. It's like, you know how hard it is? You sound crazy right now.
Yeah.
It's like when people told me, you know how hard it is to make it off dancing?
Yeah.
Like, at least with NFL.
Not
like,
just dancing, bro. Break
there.
dancing.
There's something there with the NFL.
Right.
But nobody ever foreseen breaking being at the Paris 2024 Olympic Games.
Come on now.
But I did.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But I did. I've always seen that. And you can ask my wife, who I've known since we were 13 years old.
Come on now.
You know what I mean? Like I've always foreseen the amazing things that are happening for breaking. But very few can stick with them because they're only seeing things externally and not feeling it internally.
Yeah.
So look, being in breaking for so long, right? How has it changed innovatively from when you first started being so young to now being, you know, a mature male and
OG
then
in the game,
traveling to all these countries and seeing all these different people, seeing so many different battles and being in so many different battles.
Yeah.
Like, how has the game changed from when you first started to now?
Man, well, first of all, it's changed a lot. I mean, it's changed drastically all types of ways. When I first started breaking, first of all, you'd go to a competition, and the competition wasn't strictly a breaking competition. It was a dance contest. So you would enter a dance contest with, you know, some dude on skates, you know, a chick shaking her ass.
Right.
You know,
I
you know,
got
like it was like literally a dance contest of like different dance styles, and then you'd probably get a trophy or like $50.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Over time, the competition started to get really heavy and really mainly overseas. And the crowd started to get thicker and heavier, and the prizes started to get bigger, endorsement deals and corporate sponsors starting to come in the game. And I think that's what really changed everything, because now people really saw that they can make a living out of this.
Right.
Where before it was like, man, how am I gonna pay my rent, or how am I gonna pay my car note trying to win $50 at a time, or $200 at a time, $500 at a time, you know? So when the crowds got bigger, ticket sales got bigger. You know, sponsors got more attracted to the idea. It was more appealing for them because the viewership got stronger. And then little by little, that just became kind of a ripple effect, and it just kind of kept going to where it is now. And you know, look at now what just happened a week ago.
Right.
I mean, you're in a sold-out arena at the Paris 2024 games, and I mean, you got it going viral despite all the you know different challenges in breaking. We're
gonna get to that later in the show,
but I mean, it's amazing, man. It's amazing where it's gone, because that stuff didn't exist. And the key thing is that you mentioned it earlier. There was no social media.
Right.
Yeah.
There was no. So it's so resourceful now. What it took me 5 or 10 years to achieve, people can achieve it like literally in 2 or 3 weeks.
That makes you. How does that make you feel though? Does it make?
I mean, bro, I'm excited. I'm excited for the younger generation because they don't have to go through what we've gone through.
Right.
People see what they've seen now, but they don't understand it's taken 29 years to be where I'm at.
Come on
doing
now.
what I'm doing.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And so to see younger kids have the opportunities that they have now, I mean, it's amazing. I don't understand how people can be bitter about it.
Is there a precise year where you were like, oh no, it didn't blew up? Like, was it 2001, 2000? Like, when did you see like, okay, it's it now?
I'm gonna be real. I think it was 2001.
Okay.
And it was the first year that actually Red Bull Energy Drink put on this big event called Lords of the Floor.
Okay.
And myself and my boy Little John here from Houston, we got invited as like a special guest to go compete in the Great 8.
Okay.
So there was 8 that had to compete to make it, and then there was the Great 8 who were invited, who had just been killing over the past few years.
Just crews or people?
So it was 2-on-2, so it was duels.
Okay, gotcha. All right,
You know,
gotcha.
and that was the first year I remember seeing breaking, you know, being on stage and just seeing like just masses of people.
No cardboard.
No cardboard. I mean, a legit stage built out for breakers with, you know, bleacher and arena seating, judges, DJs, Red Bull energy drink all over the place. And that's when I knew, I'm like, if a company can get behind this, why can't more?
Right.
And I remember seeing that, and I was like, man, this is going to take off. Might take some time, but it's going to take off.
Man, I can just imagine your heart, like you going from cardboard, like he say, to stadium lights and this and that, DJ, the floor. I bet you was like,
bro, I didn't know what to think. I was just like, you know, I would tell my boy June, I was like, man, anytime you get an opportunity, treat it like it's your last.
right.
And so, like, every moment that I had, it was my last. Like, I treated it like it was my last.
Yeah.
Because we're not promised tomorrow.
No, facts.
You know what I mean? We're not
Facts.
promised tomorrow. And you know, anything that you have now can go away like that.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm
Right.
saying? So it's
Come on.
like every opportunity I got, I just treated it like it was my last, and I just enjoyed every single moment of it.
Okay.
So your boy Johnny, right? So he from Houston?
Yeah, he's from Houston.
So speak to the people out there and let them know kind of like you growing up, what other guys that you feel like didn't get that opportunity that should have? You know, you can shout them out right now.
Yeah,
you know what
man.
I'm saying?
So, I mean, there's a lot of guys from my crew that really had the opportunity to like be world class and do things next level. And I want to shout out two of the guys that I started breaking with. Like, without them, like, I probably would have not started breaking, because these were two of the guys that I seen on stage at the talent show. And it's my boy Ricky and Chewy. They're from my original hood where I grew up in Manchester, in the southeast side of Houston, before I moved to Magnolia. And without Ricky and Chewy, I probably wouldn't have experienced breaking the way I experienced it.
Come on, Ricky.
And
Come on,
they were amazing, bro. Like, they were ahead of their time, and the things that they were doing was just really next level. And then when I moved to Magnolia, that's when I met a couple other guys who later on became also part of my crew, and their name was Maya and Nat.
Okay.
And both really talented in the world of breaking. And really, you know, the good thing is I got to travel with them a couple times, but, you know, for whatever reason, they chose a different path, and they stopped early, which is fine. You know, like, everyone has their own path. But rest in peace to my boy Nat. He actually passed away in 2013. He got hit by a drunk driver, and so that's why he's not here. I
want to speak on that, right?
Yeah.
So Nat was a legend in Houston, right? So
100%.
Me and Moy have ties that we didn't really even know about until it's a small world, bro.
We were talking. What was that? It was Sunday.
Yeah.
Houston
Sunday.
is such a
Saturday,
big city, but it's
Saturday,
still so smart at the same time, right? So I met Nat, I think maybe once or twice, right? Him and his sister, me and her have been dating for 9 years. I didn't know about his background until he ended up, you know, unfortunate this stuff happened to him, right?
Yeah.
So then I start seeing all this stuff on the news. All these newspaper articles coming out about him, about how much of a legend he was, how good he was, and stuff like that. And then I see you on TV, but I saw you talking, but I didn't really know. I'm like, I don't know who Moy is yet, right?
Sure.
Yeah. I'm in middle school, and I'm hanging out with my homeboy Maynard. We're taking out the cardboard, living in apartments. It was just him, and I had a few other friends, right? We out here break dancing on a little cardboard, right? And Nat and Moy is all he talked about.
Yeah.
So you know, coming up and growing up and then finally meeting you, bro, I was just like, this
insane,
is crazy.
right?
We start having these conversations.
The
and
world
then
is small,
people,
bro.
I know the same people, and it was just like, it was so crazy, bro. I want to give a shout out to, you know, Nat and his family, bro.
100%.
He's missed
Absolutely
dearly in Houston, and you drive around Houston, and you might not even notice it. It's like a little inn with wings on it.
Yeah.
And people are going around, you know, spray painting it on the freeways and the walls and stuff like that.
And speaking of Nat, when you asked me earlier about was there any moves that I saw that were like shocking, I'm gonna tell you, having Nat by my side, this is why I was never shocked. Yeah. Because if there was anybody that could do anything, Nat was one of those guys. You tell him to do it one time, he'll hit it on the spot. He was just naturally gifted at breaking. So strong, so powerful, no fear, and he could do anything. I mean, I travel the world to this day. I'm going to Slovakia on Wednesday. You know what I mean? And to this day, I travel the world, and people still ask about him. And he didn't get to travel as much as I mean, he literally been to 2 countries, early on in our breaking career. But people still are inspired and still are curious about like his legacy in breaking and what he's done. And so, yeah, he had a huge impact. But he was honestly, with him and the other few guys that I mentioned, I mean, I saw a lot. Or we talked about a lot, or we thought about a lot. That's why I said it's like I might be seeing it today, but I thought about it.
Nah, facts.
You know what I mean?
You laid the groundwork for the guys that's going through it today. Talk to us about going from B-boy to boss. I love talking about the entrepreneur because I met you when you were the boss. So I look at you, you were talking real estate, investing, and things like that. Talk to us about Bboy Moy the boss.
Well, man, for me, like I didn't grow up with a lot, and I wanted to, like, if I ever got to that position where I can financially do things to build financial wealth or freedom or legacy for my family, I was gonna do whatever it takes. And so I started to dive deep into entrepreneurship and business. And so the first step of that was opening up my school, Break Free Hip Hop School. And I had no idea what I was doing, but I had a vision. I had a vision of building out the school and a curriculum that can help kids be impacted the way I was impacted. Because I have like a motto, right? If it can be done for me, it could be done for other people. And so we took that and applied it into a curriculum and into an environment to where kids can learn what we did, but bypass all the BS, right? Because we already did that for them. And so that was my first step of of entrepreneurship. And so I started, and I'm gonna be real here. I started Break Free with $5,000 that I actually borrowed from somebody, and this was like in 2011. And I started Break Free, and then I took that to a multi-million-dollar company. Growing through having different schools, different programs, corporate sponsorships, and things like that. And so that was my first stepping stone. And so when I started to actually kind of pick up some cash flow and some extra funds, I started to put it into other things. I started to put it in the stock market, crypto, into real estate, buying a house, buying another one, and seeing that essentially, like, it was a simple concept of like, man, buying a house is like having a savings account, because you would buy the house and you would put someone in it and they'd pay your mortgage, and then your equity is rising. You know what I mean? Like it really just inspired me, like, hold on, you can just repeat this over and over. And I'm not saying it's easy. It's a long road to get there. But that really just triggered me to be like, man, like, I want to do this. I want to do that. I want to own things. I want to be responsible for growing a legacy for my family, that way that if something happens to me today, that's going to be there for them tomorrow. And so, I think that I never consider myself a boss, but I just consider myself of someone that's just passionate about growth. And I love growth, man. And anything that I do is like, the moment I feel like I'm exiting something, I don't think I'm truly exiting breaking. I exited competitive breaking. Now I'm doing other things in breaking to help grow the culture in different areas. But while I'm growing that, I'm growing, these other areas of Moy in my life, and that's real estate investments and other creative ventures that I pursue. My wife's an entrepreneur as well. She has a handmade product business called Made Bright, and so we're really just
shout out Made Bright.
Yeah, we're surrounded by that energy of just trying to just build, man, and grow with anything that we love to do. And I guess if it's bossing up, it's bossing up.
Man, it's bossing up to me, man, because, I mean, I talked to you, and we quickly got into boss talk, real estate 100%. Investing, this and that, because I feel like that's where I'm at. That's where I'm at now. Like, maybe a couple of years ago, I would have been just talking about football, athletics. But now I'm thinking about growth. And anytime you're thinking about growth, scaling, and things like that, you're talking about boss talk, right? You're talking about boss talk.
Speaking of growth, now we can talk about the growth of breaking and now entering the Olympics. Like, what was that like when they told you, hey, man, this is going to be part of the Olympics now?
So what's crazy, I can go back to like late 2016, early 2017. I remember there was conversations being had, and I was a part of these early conversations about the IOC, the International Olympic Committee, being interested in younger sports or younger extreme sports or whatever that
Trying
was.
to find a different type of crowd.
They were trying to find a different type of crowd because the Olympics were losing viewership.
Right.
And so they were like, how do we garner that viewership back? How do we get that viewership back? And it was like through the youth.
Yeah.
That's what's exploding everything right now.
Yeah.
And so when breaking became a topic, everybody's like, nah, it's going to dilute the culture. It's not going to be good for us and all this other stuff. I'm like, wait. Y'all looking at this all wrong.
Yeah.
Y'all looking at this all wrong. This is another opportunity to provide career paths for, maybe not the underground breaker, but that breaker that does want to pursue a career in competitive breaking and to be endorsed and be sponsored and things like that. And so, there's a lane for everybody. Yeah. And I was a big advocate for that lane, right? Because as a competitive breaker, like, I didn't have all that support that these kids do now.
Yeah.
Right.
You know what I mean? So I thought this was a great opportunity for us. So I commingled myself in every of those conversations that I could.
Yeah.
And luckily, because of everything that I've done in breaking, I was highly respected. And so, I entered those conversations pretty easily, thankfully. I'm blessed by that. But, man, in 2017, that was the first year we kind of activated some, like, youth competitive trials of, like, how breakers can compete to an Olympic platform. And that's when they were like, well, we have an opportunity for it to be in the 2018.
Kind of like tryouts?
Yeah, tryouts.
Okay.
But they wanted the opportunity to be a part of the 2018 Youth Olympic Games.
So they had been wanting to do it.
So they had been wanting to do it. So that's actually the first time we had the chance to actually be on an Olympic platform was the 2018 Youth Olympic Games in Buenos Aires. And I was a judge on that platform as well.
Okay.
And leading up to that, I was judging all the Youth Olympic Game qualifiers. And that was step one. And I remember being part of step one, and the president of the IOC, his name is Thomas Bach, and he's a big wig. I mean, when I talk about him, like, I don't think people understand. They treat this dude like a president of a country. But he's the president of the IOC, which is the International Olympic Committee. And then I remember being at the 2018 Youth Olympic Games, and they come up to us, and they were like, hey, guys, I want everybody to be on your best behavior. We have Thomas Bach. He's going to come in, and he's going to sit down for 15 minutes at the competition. Yeah. Let's give him a good show. And bro, he stayed 8 hours. He watched the entire thing. And it was a wrap. That was a wrap. In 2020, they made the announcement that breaking is on the Olympic program for 2024 Summer Games in Paris.
Seeing that into fruition, like, how did you feel about that? Like,
it was crazy. I get chills. I get chills talking about it
crazy.
because it's something that I'm telling you. I've really envisioned this, but I'm also I'm very, very patient with, like, long-term investment type mindset.
Yeah.
So, like, I knew it was going to happen. I just didn't know if I was going to be a part of it.
Okay.
And so to see it happen and come to fruition, it was really just amazing. And, it sounds all like butterflies and rainbows, man.
Right.
But there was so many, like, crazy obstacles and backlash and hate and everything that you had to go through to just even be a part of that experience. Because in so many cases, I also almost found my exit to, like, not be a part of it. Just because, first of all, I'm like one of those guys that, like, I don't hate nobody.
Right.
I want to get along with everybody. I respect everybody. But the moment that people started giving me their negative energies, I was like, I don't need this in my life.
Right.
I got 2 kids at home. I got a wife. I got a business that I'm running. I got enough problems of my own.
Right.
I ain't trying to, have other people's problems consume my mental health. So there was a lot of times where I really stepped out, and I'll be honest, like, I'll go home and pray about it. And I felt like, and I said this again, and this is a powerful message that I always want to say, that it's like I've always felt, no matter how many people didn't want me somewhere, somehow God wanted me there and put me there.
Right.
And I was told a few months before the Paris 2024 Olympic Games, that all the judges were set. All the judges were set, and I'm like, bet, that's all good. I'll go. I'm still going to go and support because I'm a fan of breaking, and I help make this happen.
I still want to see it, yeah.
But, man, like, a month and a half right before the games, they were like, hey, you got the spot to judge.
Man, that's crazy.
Wow.
And I was just like, and then I get there, and then they put me dead center. I was just like, oh man.
I was just about to ask.
I'm just favored like all the way around.
So how do you? What is the scoring like? What is the scoring scale on? Like, what are you looking for? Or like, what are y'all judging on breaking? Because it's such a somebody's just sitting there and just doing all these moves to the naked eye. We don't know. I'm just looking like, damn, okay, that shit was fire. But like, what are y'all looking for?
Yeah. So one thing is like, you know, everyone says scoring, but it's a comparative system with no points. It's just comparative. So basically, you got to be better in a certain area than the other.
Okay.
And there's 5 criteria. There's musicality, originality, vocabulary, execution, and technique.
Okay, hold on.
And you're like, what do all these
mean?
mean?
Before you go there, you said musicality. I want to go on that again. So in the Olympics, do you get to choose your music?
You in no breaking competition, whether Olympics or at the underground level, no one gets to choose their music.
Oh, okay.
It's all improv. It's all freestyle. DJ comes on, cuts the record. You get what you get. You better adapt and play, right?
Damn, why that shit crazy.
That's crazy, bro. Just to adapt, because like I even seeing like like your little video clip on YouTube and just seeing like the little showcase you gave.
Yeah.
It's just like when you get to popping and you get to doing your little step back and you like, oh yeah, like you know what I'm saying? You just feel a beat, bro. So it's like for me, it's like I don't know what you're scoring because I just see you moving and you know what I'm saying? So
so let's talk about that. So like the music side, that's number one, because a lot of people look at breaking as kind of a circus act. Oh, guys that can, you know, do aerial movements, spin on their heads, spin on their backs, and you know, it's kind of a specialty act for the general public.
Right.
But as a dancer, you know, if you're not dancing unless you're connecting to the music.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You can easily spot somebody when they're off beat, and
okay,
it doesn't look good.
Right.
So number one, the dancer has to be able to connect to the music. That's number one. So that's one of them.
So that's your musicality.
That's the musicality.
Okay.
You got to be able to connect to the music. 2 is originality. It's you being you, you know, and you know there's a lot there's fundamentals of the dance. There's a foundation that hey, you got all this. This is your toolbox. Build your house now.
Right.
Now that's the creative part. That's where you build your own move and you build your signatures and what people know you by.
Okay, but look, so on that, how does one go into a breakdancing event? And Moy is like the top guy that I watch, right? Okay. And then there's another guy that I watch. How is it like if you're the pinnacle? How do I go into a competition and not try and copy what Moy does?
Right.
Because Moy is here. Like if everybody wants to be Moy, right? How do I go? Like what? How do you judge somebody off that? But if they're doing your moves,
but see, that's what I talked about earlier. Is nobody could be a better Moy. I can only be a better Moy.
Right.
And I think the most important part is the individualism of the dance. It's like you can only be a better version of yourself. Yeah, you can look at someone and be inspired. You know, you as an NFL player, you were inspired by players.
Right.
You know what I mean? But you're not taking their moves. You're just influenced by the move and putting your own spin on it to make it, you know, captivating in your own way or making it original in your own way. So essentially, it's not necessarily copying moves. It's just you're influenced by movement, and you take that movement and you're inspired by that movement, and you create off of that.
okay,
That's in everything in life, right? Even this, you know, you could be on a podcast. Your podcast is inspired by another podcast. The way we dress is inspired by some of the way somebody else is dressed. You know what I mean? And then you start to make it your own. So that's the original side. So there people will always be this pinnacle or something to you, somebody. But the moment that overtakes you, you already lost, bro.
Yeah, right. Now
you
you're
know
thinking.
What I mean? Yeah. So, you know,
and then,
being original is key.
Okay, and then after that, you did the music.
You did, vocabulary.
Vocabulary. What's that?
So vocabulary is like your arsenal of moves.
Okay.
You can't just have like 1 or 2 or 3 things. I mean, when you're breaking in a competition, you're going multiple rounds.
Right.
Every round has to be different. Because if you're repeating, you're most likely going to lose.
Yeah.
So so you have to have a strong sense of vocabulary. Just like if we're talking right now, if we said the same thing over and over, our audience will be bored.
Right. Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So we can't say the same thing over and over. We got to have an arsenal of vocabulary. So the vocabulary is your arsenal of moves.
Question: while we're talking about arsenal moves, is flips or like people doing flips and stuff like that? Is that just for the crowd, or is that something that y'all actually care about?
you know, breakers that do flips, it's definitely a crowd pleaser. You do it for the crowd, but there's been so many breakers that do so well of mixing that within their dance that it's just a part of their style. And when you can do that, that's when you've taken moves like that to another level.
It's crazy because speaking of that, breakdancing is the reason why I learned how to do a gainer in a swimming pool.
Yeah.
If people don't know what a gainer is when you run forward, it jump.
You run forward and flip
do
backwards.
a backflip while you're moving forward.
Yeah.
I saw that on a little video. On
I used to love doing the gainers. Them things are fun.
Yeah.
Look at Pat, little breaking ass over there. Nah, but hey, so I mean, I'm gonna talk about the elephant in the room.
All right.
We'll talk about Paris.
All right.
There was a moment where an Australian breaker by the name of her stage name was Ray Gun. She goes out, she competes, and she does whatever she does,
right.
you know, it's seen viral. It goes viral,
right,
on all social media platforms, just because we feel like it was goofy.
Yeah.
What can you say to that? Being a judge and you seeing it, like, did you see the same things we saw, or were you like, that's original and she's doing her own thing, or you were like, oh, that's some bullshit?
So, you know, I'm gonna be 100% honest. I'm watching her break. I'm judging. Not one time am I thinking this girl is going to be a meme or some type of viral star, infamous star for the world of breaking. Not one time. I'm watching, and I know she's kind of the weaker link in the competition.
Right.
But not one time did I discredit her dance at all.
Okay.
Because, you know, because when she qualified, I was actually a judge when she qualified. And one thing that I can say is that when and where she qualified, at that moment in time, and I can be wrong, but in that moment in time, the competition was weak. There wasn't many competitors, and she was one of the better of the bunch.
Right.
That essentially, she qualified fair and square. You know, she qualified fair and square. So coming into Paris, you know, I already knew who the girl was.
Right.
And not one time did I think, oh, man, this girl's terrible. You know, you got to understand that in breaking, it's about being original and being you.
Right.
You know, it might have not met the standards of the general public or the media.
Yeah.
But I understood what was going on. Now, was it to the liking of where she could win the competition?
Right.
Probably not.
Yeah.
But I still, as a human being and as an honest judge, I'm going to respect and give credit to where it's due.
Right.
Because she's still on stage as an athlete. She's still on stage as a competitor.
Right.
Yeah.
And as an artist.
Right.
And not one time did I think, oh, man, this girl is terrible.
I don't think
Not one
anybody
time.
did, though, until the next day. Well, until after she performed, and Twitter instantly. I don't know how people, if it's somebody just sitting at home, just scouring the internet for stuff, just waiting for stuff to happen with their software ready, bro. But literally, as soon as she finished, bro, it was all over Twitter. People had already started making videos. Bro, I told you, I saw her on the back of a SUV on a windshield wiper, bro.
Yeah.
With her legs,
Bro,
as the wiper, bro,
I mean,
going up. And I was like, bro. And then they had her pelvic thrusting, and as the song playing, bro, like, when I first saw, I didn't know what was going on. I'm like, why are they? I thought it was from Squid Games because what she had on.
You know, what's crazy is, like, we woke up to it the next day because the next day was the men's competition.
Right.
And we're just like, oh, no.
Like when you see all the tweets, you're like, oh.
We did not just go through this right now. But, you know, man, like, the way the media works is like it's clickbait.
Yeah.
If they see something that they can make fun of and take those key moments that were quote unquote corny or goofy, they just had a field day with it, you know.
Bro, I saw her pelvic. Somebody had her pelvic thrusting, like she left the competition pelvic thrusting out the screen, bro. And she was just going down the road. I was like, bro, what
bro,
the
internet
hell?
undefeated, bro.
It's undefeated. But yeah, man, you know,
you can't beat keyboard warriors.
You
bro.
can't, you can't, and you know that's what the media does, man. And keep in mind, it's breaking, it's a street dance, it's at the Olympics. There's those people that say, oh, it's not track and field, oh, it's not basketball,
Right.
oh, it's
so
not.
you already got hate.
A lot
You
of
know,
people feel like it
it's
shouldn't
already
even be
there.
Yeah.
This was that moment for people to be like, see, this is
exactly.
This is the reason why it doesn't belong on
Exactly.
here. Because of that. How you
Right.
let those type of people hear, you know what I mean?
But then again, it's you got a double-sided sword because yeah, true enough, you might feel that way, but guess what? We got all this exposure. Now people there who probably didn't even know breakdancing was a sport.
We probably got the most exposure.
Yes,
right.
So now
out of everybody.
A lot of people
good
know.
or bad. I don't care what anybody says.
Any
good
exposure
or bad
is good exposure, right?
Good or bad. You come on the Jimmy Fallon show, they're making fun of. I know it's not the right thing to do, but they're making fun of her. I mean, when you got Jimmy Fallon and you got everybody else, all these, like, it's just crazy the viewership that breaking is gonna get.
Yeah.
You know,
and
it'll blow over because the conversations I was having today were all great conversations about like people getting behind it and what they want to do. And they want us on this TV show and they want us on that. So, man, there's going to be a lot of great things to come out of it. Because people just had fun with a moment. And, I feel for her. You know what I mean? But at the end of the day, when anything gets that big, breaking's already that big. I don't care what anybody says. Yeah. When anything gets that big, I mean, think about it, bro. I'm sure you've probably seen it in the NFL. How many NFL memes exist to this day?
Right.
A lot.
You can't even count.
Bro, you know what's crazy? They just played the Jalen Ramsey when I just saw that one popped up
That's
again.
my point. But because it's a quote-unquote a new sport, they found an opportunity. They got it. Bro, it's not going to be the last time breaking becomes a meme.
It probably sent off a light bulb for somebody sitting at home who probably didn't even know. Because not only a lot of outside of track and basketball, you know, the Olympics, people really not really watching stuff like that. And now somebody sitting at home who's probably thinking about breakdancing, right?
Yeah.
Now they see it's an Olympic sport. They probably like, oh, shit, like, now I have a chance to go to the Olympics. Now I'm inspired. Boom, my light bulb went off.
100%.
Yeah, how have you felt, about, we talking about it right now. How have you felt about breaking getting the flack that it's getting? Because I know it's true to your heart. And I know it's kind of, people been talking about it.
Well, first of all, like, I just think the overall moment of just being at the Olympics was surreal.
Was huge.
It's a crazy experience and a great thing for breaking. Now, for us to receive what we've been receiving over the ray gun incident, I'm gonna be honest. Like, I'm very positive. I have a positive outlook about everything.
Right.
And it's crazy. Some people could say it's funny, but not one time did I think that this was bad for us. So I'm going to be real with you.
Right.
Like, not one time did I think this was bad for us.
Because
I'd rather have people talking bad about us than not having people talking about us at all.
Oh, right. Yeah, come on now.
You know how I feel about that? Like, with that, because even though people make fun of these, we see it all the time where a video goes viral, that person gets made fun of, it changes that person's life, right?
Yeah.
A lot of people might think, but this woman might end up with multiple endorsement deals, right?
Yeah, I hope so.
And social media stars, she ends up being invited, regardless of people trying to make fun of her or not. We see it every single day. The Haktua girl, she probably was just talking, right? Just and then now she fuck around probably a millionaire, bro.
That's crazy, yo.
Bro, unbelievable.
There's just the social media and the internet, bro. You
people
like you say, you got to learn how to use it.
I will never go viral for saying that. Somebody will come back and be like, bro, you owe me money.
I bet you she wasn't trying to go viral. She wasn't trying to go viral.
And why are we talking about her, bro?
Look,
she just had another moment, right, where she was I remember who she was talking to.
You on the social more than me. You gotta tell me.
They were talking about did she listen to rap or whatever type of music she listened to? She was like, yeah, I know Jay-Z and Alicia Keys song, the song about New York, and she said some lyrics that weren't actually part of the song, bro, and it came from a Vine from a long time ago. But again, her video went viral again, bro. And it's like people trying to make fun of her, but you doing that.
They trying to use it for negative.
Yeah.
You know, they trying to make that negative.
I mean, there's so many social media infamous viral stars that's happened to, and it's gonna continue to happen, bro. That's the crazy part. That's what we said earlier. It's a blessing and a curse.
Right. With the internet. Yeah. Do you feel any type of way, because is it for sure that that the next Olympics breaking won't be in?
So I'm still very confident that there could be a possibility, and people might think I'm crazy, you know, but again, why not have a positive outlook about things and be negative about it? Yeah, they said it's out. You know what I mean? But they said it was out 4 years ago too.
But was it because of that one incident?
It has nothing to do with that incident.
Oh, okay.
So the reason why breaking is not on the Olympic program for LA 2028, it's financial. So the LA organizing committee decided to not have breaking because they feel like it didn't have enough financial support to actually like garner support to make this amplified the way they thought that they needed it to be.
Right.
And so that's why they went with like flag football and
Man,
cricket.
but
and
you
all these
got
other
people
things.
playing tag. You got pillow fighting.
Bro,
like,
there's all kinds of crazy
Man, come
sports that
on, bro.
I just learned about that I'm
Right.
just like, and
how
y'all
is this
making
in
fun of
Olympics?
breaking?
Right,
Right,
but
right.
you don't want. I feel like breaking is more popular than tag.
Bro, it's
And
crazy.
pillow fighting, bro. That's
So-
stuff we
There was
did as
Olympic
kids.
pillow fighting.
Bro, I think I'm not sure. That we gonna have to have
Y'all
somebody
have
fact
Pat
check
on
it,
his
but-
line,
But
man.
listen,
Big
bro.
cap Pat.
But listen,
Big
but
cap
listen to what I'm saying, bro. But even if it's not, it's still the people still trying to push that narrative like, oh, this needs to be an Olympic sport. Like, no,
Right.
bro, it's stuff out here that people actually care about, that people should actually be in the Olympics.
Yeah, so the decision was financial, and I think that, again, with the way things are going for breaking and the viewership that it's getting, hey man, I think that there's a possibility,
Right,
You know,
right.
but it's all good because at the end of the day, bro, like it's already had this shine. I think it's gonna be bigger than what it's ever been before because of that moment in Paris, and I think breakers just got to get ready.
Yeah.
because good things are coming.
Speak to him, because
Yeah.
I kind of wanted you to get a little bit more in depth and like inspirational to, say there's some young breakers out there that just watch this Olympics and seeing
Yeah.
that it's not going to be in 2028 Olympics.
Man.
Like, how do you encourage them to keep going?
So the interesting part is that one thing that I saw, and I'm gonna get into what you're saying, but
Yeah.
like the interesting thing that I saw that, and I know that this is the journey of becoming an Olympian, right?
Right.
That you got to give up everything and sacrifice. But what I did see is everybody putting their eggs in that Olympic basket, like everybody doing that. And one thing that we've talked a lot about in Break Free was just that, man, like there's a lot of focus on Olympics, and we're advocates and we're supportive, right? We're super supportive of that movement. But when you think about it, we have to be careful about how much energy we put into that because the Olympics is every 4 years.
Right.
What happens in between those years?
Let's be real.
And when you think about it like this, it's like, okay, when you think about basketball, when you think about basketball, right? What stands out more, Olympic basketball or the NBA?
Right.
Which
The
one?
NBA.
NBA, right?
Right.
So why don't we just create the NBA for breaking?
Yeah.
Something that is truly long-standing, and let the Olympics come every 4 years.
Yeah.
And that's how breakers have to start to think. And so the moment that you feel like just because this might be taken away from you, man, there's so much opportunity brewing.
Right. Come on.
You just got to be able to see it and collectively get involved with the right people to make that happen. And this is why I'm involved. This is why I'm involved, and I'm trying to make things happen for breaking because I still want to be able to help that younger generation bypass the challenges that we had.
Right.
And now that we have this reinforcement of this Olympic program being behind us, that's credibility, bro. Like,
So have
you no longer have to tell your parents that, you're doing some street dance.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Did you see the Paris 2024 game?
Yeah. Come on now.
That's what I want to do, Mom.
Yeah.
That's what I want to do, Dad.
Damn, that's
I
crazy.
got a question
You know
for
what I
you.
mean?
So we kind of did the basketball analogy with the breaking, right? But do you guys have, like how June has with the Clipper Beats, right?
Yeah.
Shout out Clipper Beats, shout out my boy June.
Yes, sir.
Do you guys have like a season for breakers, right? To where kind of like how they have it with Clipper Beats, the best of the best, you travel to the next city. And then you win there, you travel to the next event. Do you guys have something like that?
There's events that happen all year round. But there's nothing that exists right now that is a professional standing like tour that is where you're actually ranking points and that leads to this bigger like championship.
So y'all don't have
like
a
the Super Bowl of
Yeah.
breaking.
Right.
Or
There's no
anything.
leaderboard, there's no, but how do y'all know how can y'all
It's
say?
being created.
Yeah.
It's being created.
Okay.
It's definitely being created, but there's still a long journey and a long process of going through that. And so we're actually going to be doing a big event here in November.
I need to get it
at
out.
NRG.
Okay,
So-
we got to pull up, bro.
Yeah, yes, sir. So we're going to be doing some big things, and we're investing a lot into that. And there's organizations that are trying to set this up, but it's still early, but it will come into fruition.
Yeah, I got you.
It will come into fruition.
So right now, I don't know if you could be. Is this you being biased or what? But there's you've seen a lot, right?
Yeah.
Do you have a list of like a top 5 guys right now in breaking that you like?
Yeah.
Man, yeah, 100%. I mean, there's, I don't want to diss anybody, but
it's not an order. It's not 1 through 5. It's just you're 5.
The guys that you got to watch out for right now is, there's 3 or 4 guys out of the U.S. that I would name that are heavy hitters. Is Jeffro, who's out of Houston, Texas.
Okay.
He was at the Olympic Games. Victor, originally from Florida, now living in L.A., I believe. There's Zeku in Miami, and then Gravity, who's originally from Brooklyn but now living in Phoenix. These are the top, I would say, the top U.S. guys that the world has to watch out for and is watching out for already.
Right, come on now.
And then there's other guys around the world that are just truly killing the game. Menno and Lee out of the Netherlands. Kuzia out of Ukraine.
Is that the chick with the do-rag? She wore the do-rag?
No, these are all dudes first.
Okay,
I'll name the B-girls. I'll name the B-girls
I'm
next.
just wondering.
Yeah, so these are the B-boys, Shigekicks and Hero 10 from Japan. I mean, there's literally everybody that you saw like on the Olympic platform, majority of those people are like top 5, top 10. Like you can grab any of those guys and create a good combination of what can be my top 5 or someone else's top 5.
Yeah.
Out of B-girls, I think one of the top B-girls in the U.S. is Logistics.
Okay.
Young B-girl. She's from Cali, now living in Miami. Really, really dope. Very, very humble as well. There's India. Her name's India. She's out of the Netherlands.
Okay.
A girl named Cici out of France.
Come on.
A girl named Swami out of Mexico. I mean, the list goes on.
That's
There's
crazy.
So many,
just
bro.
naming the places that you name, bro. Just seeing how global breaking
is gone. Yeah.
It's next level. I mean, people think that it's still this small, but there's millions. I'm talking about millions of breakers and aspiring breakers that are. I mean, it's just incredible to see the growth. You know what I mean?
Have you guys ever had I know I'm just rambling, but have you guys ever had a co-ed event where it was like all heavy hitters?
Oh yeah, a lot. There's a lot of those.
Oh, okay.
What's the biggest event? What's the biggest breaking event out there?
Man, so right now,
Super Bowl.
Yeah, I would say right now the biggest breaking event, just historically and credibility wise, is Freestyle Session.
Okay.
And that's the event that I told you that I went to when I was a young kid.
Yeah.
And threw those air flares and everybody recognized me. That's the event.
Okay.
That's kind of like the Super Bowl of breaking right now.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a ton of massive like worldwide events.
Yeah.
But that's the one event where it has this grassroots feeling, but also a mainstream feeling because of its historical identity and what it's done for B-boys and B-girls worldwide. And that's Freestyle Session. So I got to give it up to Freestyle Session.
Okay.
Yeah.
What do you think about, and this is random as well,
Yeah.
America Best Dance Crew? What did you think? I love that show. What did you
you know what's fun? I thought it was a great show, man.
Yeah. So you fuck with the Jabberwockies?
Yeah.
Okay, come on, man.
You took I was gonna ask you later on. I was gonna wait.
All the Jabba guys, they're all my boys, man.
Okay,
I grew up breaking
okay.
with all those guys, and they all grew up, had families, started their business, doing great. They got a Vegas show that's been long lasting now for several years. So congratulations to them. But I loved America's Best Dance Crew.
Oh yeah, they do. When we were in Vegas, they got a bunch of billboards.
They had MGM, I think.
Yeah.
MGM.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, I thought that show was great because it gave dancers a platform to get some press and win some money.
Yeah.
So I was all about it.
Do you remember like their first mainstream? The first time they were like really mainstream, when everybody saw Jabberwockies? Because I don't remember when
That was
it was.
That was
Best
it. They
Dance
won
Crew.
America's
That
Best
was
Dance
it.
Was that the one where they were on roller skates?
I don't remember every episode. I don't remember
I'm
every
gonna tell you.
episode, Pat.
Bro, I'm gonna tell you, it was one episode. This is how I remember Jabberwockies, bro. I saw them on skates, and it was like the craziest shit I ever seen in my life. I was
Pat,
like,
you a low key
What the-
breaking fanboy.
Hey, he didn't say he really a fanboy.
Hey,
He really a fanboy.
you know what it is, bro? I just like a lot. I just like a plethora of
He
things.
do.
I just like
He
watching.
do.
I feel you.
He'd get in here and start talking about
But yeah,
trucks. And
I mean
shit.
that moment was America's Disaster. I mean, Jabberwockies, that was their moment.
That was a
blew them up.
Yes.
And then they got the Vegas show. Literally.
Yes. Man, I appreciate you coming on the show.
Man.
And I think my little last talk is always, like I say, we're going to end on the entrepreneur. We talked about you having your own business. We talked about the real estate investment group a little bit, but like, is real estate like your passion? Like, I feel like after football, it's now my passion. Like, I love going into houses, seeing what I can do to fix them up.
Right.
And
yeah.
Equity
It is, man. And it's becoming more of that. Like recently, like today, like June actually drove with me to go see a multifamily out in Lamarck, and I don't know, man. It gives a good feeling, like, to be able to see something and potentially own it, or fix and flip. You know what I mean? And so I'm really passionate about real estate. I've always had an eye for, like, seeing something and being able to modify it in a way that I know this is going to be appealing to a future customer or a future home buyer. And so I really love that concept of creativity. And I think it stems from breaking too, being able to create and literally, like, with no budget, use whatever you got to make what you want.
Listen,
know what I mean?
you sound passionate about it. So I'm glad we're on this. What about, like, because I see this all the time on social media. For some reason, I don't know why I can't stay off that search button on Instagram. These women out here, bro, that are becoming realtors.
Oh, man.
And they kind of, like, I feel like
saturating the market or something.
I don't want to. I don't want to be attacked. Because I feel like a lot of this shit is for attention. Because it's like, you can sell a house in slacks in a dress shirt, right?
Yeah.
But why is your shirt halfway up your thighs? Why is it super tight? And why are you majority of the videos that you post on Instagram, you looking like an Instagram model?
So, no comment.
Right. Yeah, facts.
No comment.
I think it's getting hella saturated versus people who, like you and Mike, who actually care about. Actually care about. I'm not saying that they don't care about it. Let's get that straight. I'm not saying that they don't care about it, but it's ways that you can go about trying to sell a house versus doing what you're doing.
I mean, approach is everything. Yeah. I mean, and everyone's always going to find their approach to doing something. But one is, I'm not a realtor. I'm not. For me personally, like, I'm not selling houses like that. I'm a real estate investor. If I flip a home, doesn't make me a realtor. I see a project, flip it. We make some and then we repeat the process over and over. And realtors are gonna find whatever approach they can to be able to sell something. And so,
my goodness,
I'm not gonna dive into that.
Pat a single man. He been looking at houses for a little minute.
Hey, do not listen to him, bro. Because for some, listen.
He said, "Hold on, how'd you start it?" You said, "Yeah, when I go to Instagram and I go to the search bar or the Explore page,
houses."
You click that search bar on Instagram.
Go to your Explore page right now. Let me see what that looks like.
Right, it's gonna be nothing but people showing houses. Right.
You click that search bar on Instagram, man. It send you down a rabbit hole. Bro.
Nah, facts. But Moy, man, Mr. Legend himself, Mr. Bboy Moy. Bless the broadcast with his presence, man. We appreciate you.
I was gonna say, bro. Also, bro, shout out what you and your wife have going on. Y'all got something. Yeah. Come on, bro.
Shout out all your tags. All your tags. If you remember them, I know you're.
Yeah, look, I just put it like this, man. It's
your school, your wife, what she got going on.
Yeah,
all that, bro.
I put it like this, man. It's like, we're easy to find. Bboy Moy, Break Free Worldwide, Made Bright, Rivas Investment Group. I mean, this is what we do, and I don't like to put a lot of emphasis on that because I like to work for it to speak by itself, for itself. But at the end of the day, man, I just want to shout out, like, first, you guys. Man, what you guys are doing here creates a platform for everybody to have a voice and share whatever it is that they love. And for people to also hear you guys, it's also very inspiring because they need to know your story. They need to know your story and everybody else's story that you guys have here as a guest. Right. And I think that's number one. Number two is, anytime anybody has an opportunity to share, you got to just give it 5 minutes. Just listen. You can learn a lot, even when you think that you can't. You know what I mean? I think that's really important. So I just want to shout out to everybody that's tuned in tonight or that's going to tune into this later on because, it's not easy to give up time for somebody else.
Right.
And
Right.
I like what you said earlier is like, you know, I value everybody's time, you know? And for me, I'm also valuing your time. So that's why I told you there's no time constraints.
Right.
Because
right.
the moment you can invite me into your house, I don't want to leave until you tell me to leave, bro.
Right. Come on.
You know, because I
appreciate.
appreciate being invited to a home. That's what my parents always taught me, is that when you get invited to somewhere, is you respect that and you honor that. And so, like, for me, it's not about shouting out our businesses or you know, all the people that have helped us along the way. Is I just want to say this. If you get the opportunity to just honor somebody, honor them.
Man.
And God's going to bless you for it.
Come on, man. Come on, man. I'm going to just clap up to that because, you know, that was inspirational, bro. People need to have those little tiny bits of wisdom because that might stick to, you know, stick in your head and you be like, man, you know, I need to go out here. Because even with networking, even talking to you, I feel like I went out of my way to start networking and putting myself out there because now it's new to me. You know, I'm so used to people running up to me, ask for autographs. Now putting myself out there first is a little.
Hey, can I get an autograph, bro?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, you can get an autograph. My boy, come on, man. You can get the autograph, bro. Man, at this point in the show, we always give our guests some flowers. We got you. It's in the truck. I got my stuff in the truck. I'm trifling.
Man,
I didn't bring it in. We
it's
got
all
you some
good,
Brock
bro.
brand gear. Don't think people
Let's
don't
go.
think we didn't get my boy some Brock brand gear. We definitely did get
I
him some
appreciate
gear.
that, fellas. Thank you.
You know. Speaking of that, I remember I got a picture from June with you wearing one of our shirts.
Okay, yeah.
You were
I think I was
on
in
the
Cabo
beach.
or something.
Yeah, you were on the beach doing a little. I'm gonna see if my boy June could plug that.
Man, we gotta get that picture from you, man.
Yeah,
so
I
we
can send it to
plug
you
my
too. I
man
think I
in
got
the
him on my
Brock
phone.
brand. But we're gonna bless you again. We got you after
appreciate
the
it, bro.
show.
Thank you.
Pat, you got anything for the people?
Guys, we got some new merch coming out. The pre-orders will be up.
Somebody's wife calling.
Yeah, somebody's wife calling. The pre-orders will be up this week. So guys, stay tuned in with us with Brock Brand Clothing. That's our plug on Instagram is Brock Brand Clothing on Instagram.
Man, if you've been rocking with us since the beginning, man, you already know the motto. Don't get ready, stay ready. Peace. Yeah.